First thing I learned was that the process that ancient Egyptians were describing, it was called horizontal gene transfer, a real process, and that is the exchange of DNA between two different species. Then I learned that in 1944, in a classic study, Oswald Avery and his colleagues discovered and showed that DNA released from dead and living cells persists in all environments. And DNA, what the thesis proposes is that the non-coding DNA can be switched on at a human death so that we can evolve. Okay, now we talked about Jacques Monod, and here he is one from a quantum core. Now, many of our really top scientists today advocate the holographic principle. And what that simply means is that our universe is an illusion. It's a hologram. It's a projected shadow from the quantum world that is at the Big Bang origin. You've got David Bohm, the neurophysiologist Carl Pribram, 50 years in brain research. Our brain, they think, operates by the holographic principle. Juan Maldacena, Gerard Tehoof, the imagining how this works is tough. But I guess we have to look at our universe as a projected shadow from the quantum protein universe. Now there is evidence for the holographic principle, and it's a study by two scientists from Barcelona, Spain in 2010. This is all really new stuff. And on your left, they show our physical universe from the Big Bang to Earth and where we are now, 13.8 billion years. On the right, you have the protein universe, and their study showed that the Big Bang origin is identical to our last universal common ancestor and the first cells. And as you can see, they listed E. coli there as the first cells and marked Earth relative to it. This whole universe, this classical universe we're in, could be an illusion, a hologram. And that's what science is coming around to, even though it seems purely real to us, the world of matter. All right. Any questions so far? I know that's difficult. Okay, as we go along, maybe it's going to become clearer, especially when we get to Wood's chamber on the floor that modern scientists are analyzing. They found cocaine in mummies, which was surprising because it meant that possibly ancient Egypt was trading with South America, which baffled historians. And then, of course, the Aztec. But the key question here is, what is the meaning of existence? What is our destiny? And our destiny may simply be to gain knowledge so we know how to evolve at a death transition. And this knowledge may be why the Grateful Dead are grateful. Possibly. Incarnation does explain that people come back and they travel around again. But what these ancient societies are saying is that if you don't know the route, if you don't have the knowledge, then what happens is your DNA, instead of being energized, your DNA becomes degraded and disassembled, and they call it the second death. Egypt calls it the second death. Early Chinese emperors call it your DNA going down the central drain spout, like a sink, and bye-bye DNA. And the Navajo call it the death, which was probably a reference to the crushing singularity at a black hole. So you need the knowledge. And reincarnation, I don't know, this is just what I'm thinking, is maybe the degraded DNA. You can't remember your past life, they say. So your DNA is degraded, and then the elements of your the elements of your DNA are reassembled into a new form, quantum state. And this is where ancient Egypt is saying that when you pass, you go to the quantum domain, your DNA. And what all this research is suggesting is that your DNA is connected to mind. So DNA is projecting this information onto your mind brain. So it's DNA that is the control. And I came up with this on the quantum level because the quantum world is the real. It's projecting this large classical universe. So when you pass, you go back to the real quantum world of DNA and molecules. And back to the idea of the serpents and everything. A protein has helices, and it looks like serpents.